Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to Altcoin Mentors YouTube channel. My name is Peter, and today I'm going to be talking about the short-term analysis for three coins, Bitcoin, Ether, and Litecoin. So we've had a bunch of things happening. I'll talk about the trade that we were in last night, and then go to the trade that we are currently in. So if you watched our video yesterday afternoon, we entered a position at 11,400, and it was going higher, higher, and higher, and I was trailing it. So one of the things that we always do is we always have a limit or a target, and we always have a stop loss. And then as we're making money, that stop loss turns into a trailing stop. So that's one of the things you'll see on our charts. I don't try to change it too much. So what I do is in the beginning, if I have a losing stop, I call it a stop loss. And then as it turns into a profitable stop, I turn it into a green color. I call it a trailing stop. So yesterday I told you that we entered at 11,400, we put our stop loss at 11,200, and we trailed it up, slowly, and then as it got closer to 11,800, that is our intermediate resistance level. So I said that as it gets closer, I'm going to be trailing it tighter and tighter and tighter. So if you look at the bottom of this candle here, the bottom was actually 11,620. But I put our trailing stop at 11,600. It ended up going a little bit higher and a little bit higher, and then it kicked us out. And good thing it did. So last week, I think I showed you that on this one of the trades over here, I had gotten kicked out, actually on this one. One of them before, oh yes, on this one here, I actually gotten kicked out. And then I said that I might regret this in the future because it might keep on going higher, and it ended up doing it. But that doesn't stop me from always doing the same thing over and over again, but always put in a trailing stop, because you never know what's going to happen. So this last time it hurt me. I could have had more profits, but this time it helped me. So consistency is the real key. So let me talk about why I got in. So one of the things that happened overnight was that our short-term wave signal went from a long to a neutral to a sell at this bar over here. So wait for it to curl a little bit and then curl back. So it changed to cyan, it changed back. And so this here is our signal bar. But as you know, if you've been watching my videos, I like to wait for confirmation. So the confirmation is here at 10,830, around there. And so once that came in, then we put in our order and we wait for it to get filled. So we waited quite a while because in the morning it was a little bit slow. And what ended up happening is that these are inside bars. So an inside bar is basically a bar that is inside of a bigger bar. Pretty simple. So if you see the range here and here is smaller than here, and this is smaller than here. So we're waiting for confirmation because we don't want to just go in at the next signal, next color change. Because sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't, and it's always better for us to have confirmation, and I like to do the same thing over and over again. So we got in at 10,830. I put my stop loss here at 11,180. It's about the 4-hour ATR, plus it's also on top of my signal bar. And so if you watched the video yesterday, I also stated that I don't like to, or I rarely ever move my stops until the candle has closed. This way, when you look at a chart, you can know exactly what you would have done in the past. If you make all your decisions on intrabar, right, then it's hard for you to say what you would have done in the past. So a lot of times when technical analysts who are not traders, they look at charts, they say, oh, I would have done this, I would have done this, I would have done this. But unless you've really traded, sometimes things are so volatile intrabar. If you're not disciplined enough, you can make a lot of little mistakes. So let's talk about this trade, how we trailed it. So we had our trailer here, then we moved it to the highest level here at 11,100, and moved it to 10,094, and then once the bar closed over here, right, then I put it up here. Once this bar closed over here, I put it down to 10,790, and then now here it becomes a trailing stop instead of a stop loss. So it took basically 2 hours for it to turn into a stop loss to a trailing to now a small little winner. And then recently it just changed over at the top of the hour, and now our stop loss is, our trailing stop is at 10,560. And the reason why I'm keeping it a little bit tighter this time around is because it's getting closer to the 200 EMA, this green line over here. So as you can see, in the past hour, it hit it, pierced it, but never closed below it, and it came back up. And now the current price is at 10,470. So being so close to the price, which is about 90 points, I probably have a 50% chance of getting kicked out. But you never know what can happen with Bitcoin and most cryptos. So just like here, I may have lamented the fact that I got kicked out a little bit too early, but here, it was a good thing. So I'm going to keep my trailing stop loss at 10,560, wait until the end of the hour, and then make a change. So let's talk about Ether. So yesterday's video, I talked about how Ether has been giving us problems. And of course, there's a reason why, because Ether kept on breaking down the largest. So our last two signals on Ether to the long side were both losers. So none of us are perfect. So we had an entry signal here, but then we took a loss over here. Had an entry signal here, but then we took a loss over here. We waited for our signal again, same type of scenario, curl, curl, change of color, confirmation at 880. We entered, we put our stop loss up at the top at 901, 902, which is the top of the bar. Ran through a little volatile period, and then once we started making some money and it closed below this level here, which is this bar, then we started putting our trailers in and staging it. And now our trailing stop loss is at 850. I'm trying to give it a little bit more room here. One of the reasons why is that our target is at 785. So we have a pretty good profit now of $30. Not 30, take that back. It's 55, because it's at 825. So it's at $55 now. But our trailing is at 850, so it'll give us a $30 profit, or somewhere around 2.5%. But we're really trying to make a decent amount of money on this one. The reason why is that on Ether, I'll look at this, the medium term chart. On Ether, overnight too, the medium term trend also changed to a short. So we have two positions in on this one, a swing trade and a intraday trade. So because of that, our target's a little bit farther along, so we want to give this thing a little bit more room. So now we really want to, instead of doing the hourly ATR, because we are past the 4-hour ATR and we're getting closer to the daily ATR, we like to keep it then, if we get to the daily ATR, so if it gets to 880, it needs to get to about the 813. Once it does that, then I can be really comfortable at trailing it at the 4-hour ATR, which is 27. Let's talk about Litecoin. So Litecoin, same thing here. And this is a good example of not chasing. In yesterday's video, I talked to you about how overnight Litecoin had jumped. So here it had jumped. I was waiting for a good buy position around here because it was in this little zone, this yellow little zigzag zone. And it was coiling for the longest amount of time, for almost a week. And then yesterday kind of broke out overnight. And then I said that you needed a little bit of discipline because you didn't want to chase this. Because if it goes higher, the green bar, the green line here, which is our same technical lines as we use on Bitcoin and all of our other coins, this is medium-term resistance at 260. So if we had entered, we could have entered here around 245. That's not a lot of money to be made. $15 versus a possible risk of going all the way down to back to the red line here, which is at 224. So now we're looking at having a possible winner of 15 points and having a possible loser of 20 points. That's a negative ratio. That's something that we don't like. We like to have a ratio of 2 to 1 in our favor. Because no one's perfect. So if you make enough money, if you make enough trades, even if you're at 50% of being right, you'll still end up making some money. So same thing here, overnight, our short-term wave signal changed to a sell. We waited for the curl, it came back up. We entered it at 218 upon confirmation. It got a little bit of a scare because it changed color over here, but our stop loss was all the way up here. And then we waited for the next bar here to close, this bar over here. And once it did, then we can start moving our trailer. We still had a loser up until recently. And then finally, we could have a small winner at 216. And then now our stop is at 210. So one of the reasons why our stop is a little bit tighter here is because, once again, we're getting closer to support, this little red line here, which is at 200. So I want to keep it at 7 points within the ATR. So it was at 203. So I have it at 210. I don't want to be any tighter than the 1 hour ATR, at the moment. So until we get to the 4 hour ATR of we are at the 13 points, so we want to do it at 7. If it gets closer to 200, which it can soon, if hopefully it does, then we have to figure out a nice place to either exit, right, or we can push a little bit further ahead. So hope this helps. Hope you're trading pretty well, and understand that the markets are very fluid. Things can change at any given time. That's why we always need to have, at the least, stop losses in place so we can always protect ourselves and our profits. Thank you and have a good day.